Ready to go in?
Ready to hit it.
Let's do it. What's going on? Welcome back to the Kickin With podcast. My name is Zac Holcomb. Today we got episode 29. You might know this guy sitting next to me. This is Danny Rice. What's going on, man?
Kicking back with Zac.
Yeah, what's up?
Looking forward to it.
Great. Well, let's just jump in, man, since we pretty much are just burning down the daylight talking off camera. We were having so much fun. So he walks right in. He's like, man, we just started just ripping it for like a good 10 or 15 minutes there.
Absolutely.
So now we're official.
Yes, we are.
Officially kicking.
We on air.
Yep.
On air.
Well, man, you brought a little fun list of things to talk about, which is awesome because a lot of the things you got on here are things that I like to talk about.
Good. Well, I figured they'd be good topics.
Absolutely. Well, where do you want to start? You want to give anyone that might not know who you are maybe like a 35 to 60-second run through?
Sure.
I mean, you're pretty well versed in a lot of different things around here. So.
Well, I've been in Kinston for a long time. I moved here in 1974, and I worked for Women of the World that I'm still involved in. And then I worked for the Baptist Children's Homes for a little while. I went back to graduate school, got my master's in social work from Carolina, and I don't tell everybody that. But I'm a pirate. I worked at Caswell Center for 29 years. And I retired when we were getting the community center ready because I knew it would take a lot of time for that. But I've been involved in a lot of situations here in Kinston. Kinston's been good to my family. And my whole philosophy is volunteering is kind of the rent we pay for the opportunity to live here and to interact with great people. And that's kind of been my philosophy here in Kinston. And I've been very blessed. My family, my boys were raised here, and I had a lot of opportunities. And we've been very fortunate as a family. And I'm a very strong Kinston, Lenore County advocate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely picked up on that when I got here quickly. You know, you move in, you start learning the lay of the land. And you don't know, man, because, you know, there's movers, there's shakers, and there's people that look like they're moving, but they're not shaking that much. So, like, you start figuring those things out, man. But I felt like I had no idea of you're one of two people that I reached out to before I was running for mayor.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea. Like a week later, a bunch of people were like, it was like you guys were all talking about all the people running and all this stuff. And I was like, holy cow, I didn't even really realize that you were like so high up and kind of like that game when I had reached out to you. But I'm kind of glad that it worked out that way.
I really love politics. I love local politics just because you try to get the best people in the best seat. And I think I've been fortunate to work with a lot of campaigns. And I ran once in 92 for city council. And I didn't look at my numbers good enough. There were 5 candidates for 3 seats. And I ran against an incumbent who was very strong, Eddie Carnegie. I ran against Wayne Malone, and his dad there was a sign in every yard in North County. It kind of freaked me out. But his dad, knew people for a long time. Yeah. And then I ran against Jan Barwick and Jan Parsons.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was 4th. I lost by about 12 votes. So, wow. And that's a tough one. You know, you get depicted, it kind of lays you out there. As you know, you're very vulnerable. And I'm open. I'm very transparent. And people ask a question, I would answer it. But I had a lot of ideas that were kind of different for the city council. But I'd worked with a lot of good city council people, Alice Tingle, and Dan Braxton, Eliza Worthington, and Joe Tyson, and so many people that I really looked up to that I think had the best interest of the city in mind. And I just had some ideas. I mean, crazy ideas about parking police cars and let them take them home and park them in their neighborhood. Yeah. I thought that was a good deterrent, and I mean, that's pretty common now. So a lot of little things that I thought, but I learned then it's a lot more fun to help good people get elected than run yourself.
That's what I was going to ask.
So that's kind of where I stand now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have asked me, are you going to run again? And I said, no, I'm going to keep helping good people get elected, hopefully.
Right on.
Now, I've been on some losing sides. Recently, I've been... I supported some candidates that I knew were slam dunks, and they were not slam dunks.
They didn't quite make it, yeah.
But current demographics are very interesting, and you used to be able to strategize and look at demographics and voting patterns and those things, and they're very inconsistent right now in the city.
Yeah, very low turnout.
Oh yeah.
Which it's almost like it's kind of like a thing where like if you could just get a faction of people that never turn out just to show out one time for you, it wouldn't take a lot to have a little bit of a landslide and pull some numbers.
Yeah, that's the key, and that's why I hope in the next city council we can get some people out. There's a race this year, and you've got 3 seats that are open, and I hope we can get some people out that can work hard. and get votes from a cross section of the community, plus get their own group out. Nathan lost by just a handful of votes, and after the election, he found out his neighbors didn't vote, and that would be very frustrating.
Yeah, especially if it's tight like that.
Nathan,
because that was what, 8 votes? 7,
yes,
8, less than 10.
Yeah, he would have been an unbelievable city council member. He really would. He would have brought the business skill sets in that we need right now.
Yeah.
Very much so. And Nathan's such a good young man, and his business is very successful.
Yeah, he's doing well. My dad always gets up with him when he comes into town. He's
good.
like one of the first people we trying to find a place to live, right? So
yeah.
He's one of the first people that we had chatted with from back in the OH
yeah.
days.
Well, I go back with Jimbo, and Nathan comes from good. Jimbo was Citizen of the Year last year, and he very well deserving. And Citizen of the Year banquets tomorrow night. Are you going to try to go?
Where's it? I don't know. I got a pod tomorrow.
Hey,
I know.
Yeah, it's at the Country Club, but that's an annual event, and they'll name Citizen of the Year.
Nice.
And we've had some good ones. We really have people very, very well deserving.
Is there ever like squares going for that, where you got everybody, any gambling going on? No, people got squares on
I hadn't know of any betting yet, but that might be a good way. I'm retired with limited income, so I might work something out about that.
Yeah, for charity. You know what I mean?
The heck with charity.
Yeah.
I need to maintain my lifestyle.
I know that's right. Yeah, we were talking about that. I love it. We're all trying to maintain our lifestyle right now. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I feel that, man. That's a very interesting point of life right now for all business owners, man. It's a game. So in Out of America, we're definitely feeling the slowdown for sure, because we operate at the cutting edge of new products. So prototyping, trying things out before you do short run production and stuff like that.
Yep.
So when companies get a little tight around the pocketbooks, they start control and how much money they spend on these new ventures and things like that. So we're definitely noticing that on our end.
Yeah, and I've always worked for a nonprofit. I was involved with the Woodman board, and that was had to look out for the bottom line there. But it's tough now. It's got to be tough for a small business person. We talked about the chamber earlier. Having enough resources to be a chamber member. Yeah. And I think that's getting tougher and tougher. And Vicki is doing a good job at the chamber trying to make it value based. If you're a chamber member, you do have value. You're getting people looking, putting the word out about your business and that kind of thing. So that's a challenge nowadays. Like you say, you have to look at the bottom line.
Amen. Yeah, and I mean a little bit of that too. I mean, you got to market yourself as well. You can't rely on everybody else to do the marketing for you. You got,
That's right.
My father-in-law used to say it all the time, and he almost like hated saying it. If you don't talk about you, no one's going to talk about you a little bit. There's a line.
And you've done a good job marketing your business, and I think you market it through your community action, your community education, and your other involvements. I think you've done a great job, and we really appreciate what you've done. I mean, you've reached out, you've done some things, you've tried to promote some activities, you try to push the system a little bit, and I think we need more and more. Us old guys, it's time to kind of let you young guys take over. Sure. And I think people
we want the guidance for sure, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
it works well together.
Well, that's the thing. I've talked to Travis a lot, and Travis is like you. He wants to make the city the best it can be, and develop the resources. And y'all have come into town and really through a lot of risk at a tough time, and y'all have done a lot to make some positive impact in the community, and a lot of people really appreciate that.
For sure, appreciate it. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, it's more or less for me, like coming in, it wasn't really like I was trying to splash and be so different or like do these things. It's just where I come from is just having pride where you reside and just it's just a big thing for us coming from where we came from. And so, it was just something we always did. And, posting that you're here or there and sharing things of other businesses, it helps. And, it kind of helps you build a community of people that you're kind of cool with, and then they do the same thing back to you. And, that's what really social media is. It's really just like, it's kind of like the old school Rotary. We just don't physically go to the spot at the same time to do the act. We're doing it daily in smaller sessions.
And that's the key of social media. People give me a hard time about posting a lot on social media. But I try to tag places that I really enjoy, that I try to promote. We travel a lot, and a lot of people say they learn a lot through our travels. Yeah. But I think the local things, when I tag somewhere, I think I really believe in it. And I wouldn't recommend it unless I would, unless I felt good about it myself. So I try to do that as much as I can. People say, well, Danny, gosh, aren't you worried about people knowing when you travel that I say, well, I live in a pretty good neighborhood. We got a security system, and I got a killer dog, which is a 5-pound Morkie. So killer dog. So I don't worry about that at all.
Is that a Maltese Yorkie?
It sure is. Yeah,
I like that.
A little Morkie, precious little dog. But I have to live with 2 high maintenance women in my house.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I got 3 at my house, not counting the animals, but we're getting there. 2 daughters, man.
Oh my gosh, God bless you. I had 2 boys. The good Lord would not let me have girls.
Yeah, see, my dad had 2 boys, and that's what he always said was, God gives you what you can handle, because he knew that he probably wouldn't have done too well with the 2 girls. And then here we go. I got them. I said, well, you always said it, Dad. I'm just a better guy than you. Dad, the big man knew I could handle more, and he's always like, yeah, whatever. Just wait. He's like, they're not 10 and 12. Oh, yeah, they are. They're about 10 and 12, so here we go.
Well, I remember when both boys, they're 4 years apart, but both of them had tickets at one time. And I think our car insurance was like $5,000 or $6,000, and we were working our butts off just to try to maintain. And now you have insurance, but they got through it, and I'm real proud. My boys are in Burbank in Hollywood, and they're in the movie industry. And I always supported them to follow their dreams. It'd be so nice to have them here close to us. Sure. But both of them, I knew early that they will be in the movie industry. Yeah. And both of them went to UNC Wilmington. Okay. And Jonathan ended up out there first, and then Carson joined him. So they love it out there, and they probably, the only opportunity to get close to home would like be New York or Atlanta. But they love California. I mean, the amenities, the lifestyles, and all that. They really enjoy it.
Yeah, pretty good weather out there. A lot less hurricanes.
Absolutely. You better believe it. That would be nice.
How old are they then? They're 4 years apart.
Yeah, Jonathan's 43 and Carson's 39.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Not too much older than me.
Yeah.
Nice. Me and my brother are 5 years apart. So,
oh, okay.
And my daughters are 2.5 to like the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we nailed it.
That's a good spread.
Yeah. And then we were like, that's it. Call it out. Call it a day right there.
Never say never, Zach.
I know.
What's that?
Yeah. Definitely trying to play it safe on that one, man. We feel like, once you have the youngest of 10, that's the point of no return.
Oh, yeah. So, well, I used to tell my friends that had teenage or daughters that were approaching the teenage years. My theory is when they get 12 or 13, just trade them in and start over.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a teenage daughter.
I'm telling you, in the throes of it.
But they're special. You just, our friends' daughters that are teenagers, I mean, they're just, they're good as friends. But I'm not sure how I would handle a teenage daughter in today's times. Yeah. Or in the early times.
In any times.
It's a challenge, and it's a challenge for parenting. It really is.
Yeah.
But good parenting goes a long ways.
For sure, we're trying our best, man. We're doing the homeschool thing, which has been pretty cool. Sometimes today it was a pain because they were being real special for us today. But it is what it is, man. I'd rather them be here giving me a hard time than picking up some other stuff. So, we get them, and they do it in here too. So we kind of work them in with the business stuff. They kind of get the entrepreneurial bug a little bit.
That is nice.
They'll come up with ideas of ways that they could, they'll make business cards for themselves.
Oh, wow.
Their services that they offer around the house. So,
neat.
Yeah, we pick and choose on there. The mowing was only $12. I was like, I'm calling Tyler right now. I'm telling him he's done. I like the mowing for $12. But yeah, it's funny, man.
That is funny. Wow. Well, good luck. Good luck. And God bless you, as we say in the South. God bless you.
I know. I'm praying for myself on that one, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the city and the county kind of getting together on a few things that we've kind of seen some baby steps into that. I know you're kind of a proponent, you're a big supporter of that concept.
Yeah, I've always really thought that we had so many duplicate services in the county and the city, and I think they've done a good job. Some of the codes and some of the areas where they could join, but I've always been a strong advocate of merging the city and the county, and I know there's a lot of work that goes into that. I remember years ago when we and you hate becoming a historian. That says you're getting old, isn't it? I remember when, but I remember when we merged the school system, and it had always been south of the river and north of the river, and some good people came together that everybody respected, and it happened. And it was so much more efficient than having two systems. And I just think that with the city and the county, the county's pretty solid right now with their reserves. They're in good shape. Yep. The city's got some challenges with tax base and revenues and that kind of thing. So, it would take a good while to do that. But I just think we still have a lot of duplicate services that, the recreation department works extremely well as a city-county venture. So I would just like to see some considerations, at least look at it, at least study it.
Yeah, check it out and see what it's about. I liked. I saw the what was it? The county kind of throwing a little coin towards that Pink Hill Rec Center down there.
Yes,
the gymnasium. $330K.
Yeah, that's a good move. That's a part of our county that deserves that support. And I think the with the recreation department being city and county, they can kind of look around and they do a lot in LaGrange, a lot in Pink Hill, Deep Run. But I think that's going to be a great addition. And I think there's a lot of funds still out there left over from COVID. And I think that's the kind of thing to promote health and wellness and activities, and it gives young people a place to go. So I think, and I think Corey's doing a good job. I think the resource that he's allocating, they're doing a lot of hard work and a lot of creative kind of things.
Yeah.
I was glad to see when they embraced pickleball, because that's the next. I got to have knee surgery in March, but after my knee surgery, I am committed to getting into pickleball because it looks like fun.
Are you like a tennis player, like a racket sports guy?
Well, I was in the past, but I was never good at the net. Okay. And that's one good thing. Pickleball, you kind of protected at the net.
Yeah.
Because you've got that area. What do you call it? The kitchen or something?
I don't know. In tennis or in pickleball?
In pickleball.
I don't know. I haven't learned the rules. I'm on table tennis still. I haven't graduated.
Okay. Well,
I need to get out there.
You got a little way to go. Yeah, it's good exercise, and there is a space. I don't know how many feet, but I think it is called the kitchen, where you can't approach the net.
Okay.
And a lot of people like that, especially older, because it's much more adaptable.
Yeah. Well, you don't have like people running up and spiking in your face or anything crazy too.
Yeah.
So.
And once I get my knee surgery behind me, I'm gonna get into.
Be ready to rock. They got it going hard over there at Fairfield, man.
Earl's doing a good job with that. Yeah. He really is. They got a good group.
Yep.
And
reach out to them too.
A lot of people my generation, and that's what you like to see.
Yeah. No, I think I love it over there. I've been trying to like get out of work on a Friday morning so I can slide over there, but I just haven't been able to make it happen yet.
They got a good turnout. And I saw where they put a park up. We had a park years ago that it was a handicapped park over there, and it just through the years, there was just a lot of wear on it, so they tore it down, and the recreation department and a few volunteers put a lot of time Saturday in it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think they're going to finish it this Saturday, but that's a good effort too. And Bill Ellis, Bill was very supportive. Bill's touched everything in our community. He's such a good guy, and he's retired, but he's not retired. Bill will never retire.
Right. Yeah, he's moving around.
It was funny. Bill works all the time. And he's doing these playgrounds all over the nation.
Yep.
Well, Bill called me and said, "Danny, guess where I'm going?" I said, "Where is that, Bill?" And for Bill, it'd be, I'm going to LaGrange, or I'm going to Raleigh. He and Judy went to Iceland.
Oh, yeah.
I said, "You're going to Iceland?" Yeah. He said, "Danny, there's a direct flight from RDU."
Really?
And there's a lot of people going to Iceland. Huh. Now, I'm going to wait and go in the summer, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going in the winter. But, yeah, Bill finally, I don't know what Judy had to do to get him to travel. I think she had a little surgery too, and they want to get the travel behind him.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a cool place to go. I mean, they've got those little. I think that's the country where they have like those individual, like there's individual islands, or they might have a special term for them, and they have like hunting lodges on each of these islands.
Oh wow!
And they're owned by the country, and so like if you want to go, like you can go and stay in them and hunt the island and whatever, and it's like. If you're a citizen there's like a lottery or a reservation or somehow you can set it up. You'll have to tell me after you go. But supposedly if you're like from there, you can be like, yeah, I want island whatever from these dates, and then you can show up and you get to hunt that island and stay in the little like shack that's on the island. There's something like somewhere in the teens of them, like somewhere 13, 14, 15 of these islands.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I read about it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
A lot of people go for the Northern Lights. There's such an attraction.
That would be super cool.
I mean, that's almost the eighth wonder of the world, those. But a lot of people go for that. But to have a direct flight from RDU, that's big time.
Crazy, yeah. You can't even get a direct flight to Columbus from RDU half the time.
It's crazy. I used to go to Omaha for our board meetings, and I had to go to RDU, and I went through Cincinnati, the Cincinnati, Kentucky, the old one, and then we fly into Omaha.
Yeah.
But thank goodness they got to a point where I could get a direct flight into Charlotte and then into New Bern.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a lot better.
Yeah, I like the EWN down there, the New Bern Airport.
Oh, and they're expanding it.
Yeah.
But before you, we did have an airport here in Kinston.
I saw.
It's ridiculous we lost that.
That's crazy.
We had just given Delta like a big incentive to stay.
Really?
And all of a sudden, it was gone. and we had like a 85, 90% percentage of occupancy.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right?
And oh my gosh, it's better than most airports. But it just wasn't to be. And super airport in Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
And New Bern is fantastic, and they are expanding the flights. Now Greenville, I think, has struggled a little bit.
Has it?
But I think they put some money in there. So they got some PPP or COVID money and expanded a little bit.
Yeah, you would think with all the people there in the university that would just be a pop-in airport all the
absolutely.
time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, you'd think they would just be crushing it.
Yeah, you would think so with the med school and the dental school and all that. But,
sports teams.
And maybe it's doing better now.
Yeah. I mean, all those sports teams in general, I mean, a lot of them, they're flying, right? They're not busing to play.
Right. Yeah, they
Cincinnati.
do fly. And most of the time they get charter flights, but still, you have to have an airport, a closed airport. I mean, the Pirates, when they fly out, generally they fly in and out of Kinston.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, they hooked up with Fly Exclusive?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I don't know who they work with, because Jim Siggraves is on the board of trustees now at East Carolina. So I'm sure there's some connection there.
Yeah,
I would hope
that makes
so.
a lot of sense. I think I remember seeing something about it, but
Yep.
I figured you would know, man, being the ENC guy. I mean, when I think of or ECU guy, when I think of East Carolina University, there's pretty much like it's you and then like everybody else.
Yeah,
so you're at like every football game. Is that pretty accurate?
Well, we one thing I wanted to do when I retired was to get as active as I can in the athletic department, and my wife and I, our philosophy has always been we want to give equally to East Carolina the academic side as the athletic side.
Okay.
So I did some insurance stuff to kind of get my points up so I could get good tickets, and we love football and tailgating. And we'll have 30, 40, 50 people show up for tailgate.
Yeah.
And Brian Hanks is the craziest tailgater. He is unbelievable. So we have a good time there. Basketball is still coming up. We got a new coach, and I think we give him 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. But baseball is the biggie.
I'm telling you.
I mean, baseball. Last year, maybe 2 years ago, I was on Brian Hanks' show, and Brian said, "Danny, your bucket list, you're getting down. What's at the top of your bucket list?" And I said, "Well, Brian, I really want to go to the College World Series in Omaha with my Pirates." Mm-hmm. He said, "Oh man, how bad do you want to go?" And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll get my first tattoo when we go to the College World Series." He said, "You'll do what?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll go. I'll go get a tattoo." And thank goodness now I'll get one in Kinston.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
And Coach Godwin was on next week. He said, "I'm gonna go with Danny and get a tattoo." We got 23 people gonna get a tattoo if we go to Omaha.
And I got Brandon Corey, get the needles ready. Yeah.
I got home. My wife said, "Danny, are you friggin' crazy?" I said, "Well, Johnny, I didn't tell him what I would get. I didn't tell him where it would go.
Right.
But I said, I'm gonna have a tattoo."
Yeah.
Because we're one of only 4 major university baseball programs that hadn't been to Omaha.
Really?
So, and see, we got the attendance record. And we packed the stands. Super
cool
regionals. We played Texas last year. We were 7 outs away from going to the College World Series, and then we fell apart. I mean, there was a record crowd. We have the jungle. Now, you would enjoy the jungle.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Brian was telling me all about it.
It's
like,
crazy.
This is the spot for you, man.
The jungle is crazy because they tailgate, and it's almost like a family out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got some bars set up, and probably a little adult beverages flow out there. But they don't harass, but they give the opposing team's outfielders a rough time.
I like that.
And the guy from Texas said they gave him a hard time. And he said, "That's the most fun I've ever had."
Right.
And even the Texas parents that came in said, "That's the nicest people," because they'd invite them to tailgate. Gotcha. It's so much fun. Such a good atmosphere.
Their kids hell after that.
and tailgating with football. I mean, you have the opposing team to come in, and once you get in the stands, they're your enemy. But when they're tailgating, they're your friends. Yeah. And my wife's a tailgate queen. I mean, she does crazy kind of stuff tailgating. So we just look forward to it. Now, our first game this year, Michigan.
At the Big House.
The Big House.
I'm App State 2.0, baby. Let's go.
Well, I've always wanted to go to the Big House. Because that's the largest venue for college football.
Yeah, just barely.
a little more than Ohio State, right? Bigger. I understand.
Yeah. We didn't dig ours into the ground like they did.
I'd love to play the Buckeyes, you know.
That would be sweet. I'd be all for that. You got those Bearcats last year, the year before, though.
Yeah, we did.
With Fickle and them.
Yep.
That was a big time.
Luke Fickle. We don't like Luke Fickle.
I know you guys don't.
Don't like Luke Fickle.
He was our fill-in guy the year after Tress got fired.
Oh, that's right.
So we kind of have a little soft spot for him.
And they thought he was going to possibly be the head coach.
Yeah, and then Herb was like, What's up? What's up, big dogs? You want me to come back up there? And we were like, yes. Sorry, Fick.
He's kind of an enigma, isn't he? Yeah.
He set it up. I mean,
I know.
He set it up, though. But, yeah, just on the football stuff, the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke Fickle ran it up against us a couple of years ago when they were at the top of the game and did some things and made some comments. You know, when they were here, he kind of messed our dressing room up a little bit.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but so we don't like Luke. But he just, where did he go? He just ended up he went to Nebraska? Was that it? No.
I can't remember. Not. Yeah. He definitely left Cincinnati, but I can't remember where he went.
We call him Luke Very Fickle.
Very Fickle, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
Luke Very Fickle. Yeah, it's kind of like family. When you criticize the Pirates, you know, I can't say it because I made a promise, but I have a little problem with the NC State coach. Yeah. But I promised a New Year resolution is not to criticize him publicly, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, you almost made it a whole month. So
his name is Dave Dorian. I call him Double D. but yeah, I won't say anything. He's very successful at State, and they're very happy with him. That's what's important.
Yeah. What's important. Yeah, you need all the teams in the state to be good, and then
Oh yeah,
that always helps too.
Because we like to go after the best. I mean, Michigan.
Right. I'm psyched for that.
Oh, we can't miss it. We got groups, that getting ready to go. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but probably fly into Detroit and drive over and. But we're looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. But they're and their coach is still talking about maybe going pro.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, he made the comment 2 or 3 weeks. Well, I'll never leave Michigan. And then one of the owners met with him last week and had dinner and opened the door again. So it's the golden rule.
Yeah, I'd be cool if he left. That'd be fine with me. He finally got it together the last 2 years.
He's kind of mastered y'all, hasn't he?
Danny, they got us twice.
Twice.
That's
okay.
it.
Just 2 in a row.
Yeah, it was the in a row part that's.
I know. Me. That's like us with State or Carolina. Yeah. We've kind of held our own with them. And this year, gosh, we were a last-second missed field goal away from being State,
which would have been pretty major.
And it makes our year.
That was early on when they still had like the high aspirations too, right?
Well, they came into Greenville and their quarterback was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. Their defense was the top 5 in the nation. Mm-hmm. And we pretty much ran all over them.
It was like 30-something points, wasn't it? You guys hung on them?
Yeah. I think, was it 37-34 we lost? I try to forget when we lose. Yeah. I try to remember the wins. Like the Peach Bowl in 91 when we beat State. And
I saw a clip of that the other day. Someone shared it.
That's crazy.
I think, who was it? Somebody shared it. And they were like,
Walter
you were there.
Maybe, yeah.
Ken Blizzard, I think, maybe might
have been at that game as well. KB. Yeah, we were there. It was cold as heck. But our theme that year was we believe. And we were underdogs in everybody we played. And that year, gosh, we almost beat Syracuse was strong that year. We almost beat them. I think Miami and Florida State were we only lost, I think, 3 games. And they were against top 10. Mm-hmm. So we had a super team. And then State was ahead by 17 points.
Wow, I did not know that.
So we said, okay, here it goes. And then we came back and won.
That's crazy sweet. Especially back then, like 17 points back in 91, 92.
Absolutely.
That's a ton of points, guys. Like all you youngsters out there that are watching everybody come back from like 21 down all the time. Like that never happened. If you were down 21, 17.
You can forget it.
Click it.
You can forget it. Yeah. But yeah, that was probably a highlight of my Pirate career when we beat.
I like that.
Anytime we beat State.
At least until this fall when you guys beat Michigan at the Big House. Come on.
That would be nice.
You'll never see me more of an ECU fan than that day. You'll never beat it than that.
Well, if we beat Michigan, I think I'm ready for rapture. The good Lord, call me on. I'm ready to be raptured.
Tattoo,
That's another tattoo.
That's a whole nother tattoo.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
But Appalachian State did beat them.
Yeah.
At their peak, and we're gonna have a good team. We got a new quarterback, and this portal is a nightmare.
It's something else,
and it's ruining college football, and that kid from. The way they're raising money for the NIL, there was the player going to Florida, and they promised him $13 million, and they couldn't fulfill the obligation. He said, well, heck, I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somebody can pay me.
He's going to find it somewhere. I saw
18-year-old kid.
Yeah, maybe. Might even be 17.
Exactly.
Saban the other day let 2 people go because he was supposed to, between the 2 of them wanted $1.3 million in NIL money, and he was like, bye.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, small colleges, universities like East Carolina, I mean, we raised about $700,000. But, we lost Keaton Mitchell. Keaton's going to the pros, but we lost a couple of guys that we'll probably get some funds. We lost a good Jaden Gardner, our basketball player 2 years ago. He went to Virginia, and I'm sure he's getting $1 million and a half.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So,
just to think.
I always said that they need to pay athletes, but, I mean, that is ridiculous. And, of course, my Carolina buddies won't like this, that they think they came back for Carolina. But those 4 stars that came back, for Carolina, oh, my God, it's the golden rule. It really is. I mean, they're making big
When
bucks.
Baycott was like, I'm coming back, I was like, oh, my God, what's he getting, 3-4?
I'd love to see what he's probably driving a Porsche, you know.
Just remember, they used to they were all mad at LeBron, made him send out a high school game because he was driving a Hummer. Remember that?
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
Yep.
And now I hate it. So, like, I'm a big wrestling fan, obviously.
Okay.
Like, real wrestling, like Olympics wrestling. Not, Not WWE. But that's a whole nother story. I like that too. But I hate the NIL for college wrestling because I can't remember his name again, but there was like this dude that had won like Olympics and Worlds already, and he just came back to like do his junior year at Minnesota just because. And like he'd already signed a deal to join the WWE after the season as like as an entertainer while he's also still working to like win Olympic medals and stuff. And it was just like I just kind of hated that. Like it was like it's so ruined now that like we're parading this guy around and celebrating him because he's being so nice as to wrestle one more year for the sport. And it was like, yeah, but he's getting paid so much money, and they want him to stay and go around that last year and build up the attention as being the
wow.
They pretty much paid him and were like, go. Him being in the NCAAs was a complete waste of his time, I guess is where I'm getting because he killed everyone. Yeah, even though he was only a junior.
But they've taken the purity out of amateur sports, and that's what's always been good about it. Just the whole purity that they're doing it for the good of either the cause, USA, their university, or whatever. Mm-hmm. They've got a gymnast at LSU that's making millions and millions.
Isn't that the girl that's on like TikTok or something?
Yeah,
yeah. She's just killing it. They had to like do the new rules, I think, for security because of her or something. Yeah, which is nuts. It's nuts. I guess I don't dislike that stuff as much. Like if you're an athlete, but then you also like you just happen to be good at social media and you're making money at that. I don't disagree with that. Yeah. But the colleges having like a bankroll for it, and setting up the deals for the kids. That's where I'm like, at least let it be on their own merit a little bit. Go get your own money. Yeah. But like having the schools have like a booster program set up to like go ahead and entice players like that. Yeah. That I don't know how you could ever draw the line and say that this is where we're going to say it's okay and this is where we're not, other than the way it used to be and the way it is now.
They've opened the door. And NCAA is so focused on funds and money and all that. But yeah, if it's on their own initiative and they're creative and they can generate funds and it doesn't go through the university and
I like that.
That's I don't see any problem with that at all.
Yeah, because it's you don't want people to be like, I can't be a swimmer because I'm really good at TikTok on the side because I make art on my computer and people follow me and I get money for that. Like that's where you're like, all right, but they have to have a job somewhere, but don't make too much. So,
well, what do you think our fellow in Greenville, Mr. Beast?
He's killing it, man. He's killing it.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that guy. I mean, I can't understand the amount of money that he's generated and some of the things that he does. I mean, he did a thing in Greenville last summer where he paid some guy. He said, if you stay away from your family in this house for 30 days, I'll give you $500,000. Yeah, it sounds kind of simple, but, I mean, he hired the East Carolina band to come out and play all night. He hired a helicopter to hover over the house all night. He did crazy stuff. That is funny. But I heard today he paid for like 1,000 visually impaired people to have special surgery. I mean, such a generous guy.
Yeah, that's the stuff right there that I really like. The I spent 48 hours buried underground stuff. That's not for me. But yeah, the goodwill of it is really cool. Like the ones where it's like, hey, one that I had seen. It's my kids largely showing them to me, but had like called a pizza the delivery, but like told the manager, hey, we're going to offer this guy a really cool deal, so he might not be back to work tonight. Like, don't get mad at him.
Oh, wow.
And so they had arranged something, and then the dude comes over, delivers a pizza, and they were like, if you will stop delivering pizzas right now and help us move all this stuff, or help us go shopping for all this stuff for this house,
Yep.
We'll pay you whatever. And then, like, they went and did all that and then brought all the stuff back to the house, and they were like, we're just kidding. All the stuff we just bought and the house is all yours.
Oh, my
I was
gosh.
like, man, that's freaking sweet.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's awesome stuff.
Wouldn't you love to have unlimited amount of money and just creative about how to give it away?
Yeah, like, and that's what's really cool about it is, like, a lot of people say that, like, they would love to have that problem, but like the dude is literally, he built an empire around basically crowdsourcing money to do goodwill. I mean, who doesn't love that?
No. I mean, it's kind of the utopia. And I'm real proud because he just entered into a relationship with East Carolina. And he's going to do an entrepreneurial effort at how to generate that kind of activity. Mm-hmm. And he'll be generous with East Carolina too.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like that.
For sure.
Not like Vince McMahon, your buddy. He's a graduate.
Oh, is he from ECU?
Anyway, I
had no clue about that.
I don't think we got a dime from him.
Wow.
All that money he's got, he just settled something, some big payment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Lots of settlements.
Talking about entertainment.
Yeah. I've met him before, actually.
Really?
I used to work at a hotel in Columbus for a couple of years. Yeah. And we had to, one cook had to stay. Like, generally the kitchen would close at like midnight or whatever, and we'd work at the bar till like 2. And a part of the arrangement for the WWE to stay at the hotel was that Vince needed a ribeye or something, cooked when he got back to the hotel and then brought to his room. So we had to he would pay extra for that. So there would be a chef that had to stay on until whenever they got back from the show. They do it at Nationwide Arena for the Blue Jackets play, and then they'd come back over. And they were like, we got to keep a cook on. We got to keep an in-room server on all until he gets back, take a mistake like 1:30. I was like, you're good. Like, the lady, the in-room server, was kind of complaining about it. I was like, you can go. I'll run it up there. I got time. No worries. So, I ended up, running a ribeye up to Vince.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I was really what he was hoping would show up at the door. But
I bet not.
He was extremely kind, though, I will say.
Well, the tip was probably less for you.
Yeah, in 2 ways. So, it was interesting. But, he was nice to me at least. But
yeah. I understand he's a very nice guy, and maybe one of these days, he'll connect with these Carolina.
Well, he's got to sell it first.
Right, that's right.
So supposedly he's coming back in to sell.
Yep.
Which I'm interested to see that number as long as it comes out.
Oh gosh.
7? What do you think? 7 billion?
I would think so. Yeah.
More if he sells it to the Saudis.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of like the new golf thing, this new golf venture. I mean, gosh, I don't know how to take that either. I mean, that's just you think of the PGA, and I know they made a lot of money, but they made golfers a lot of money. Then all of a sudden you get another venture. It's kind of who pays the highest dollar, and I can't fault them. But I mean, you make $100 million or you make $200 million. What's the difference?
Yeah, once you're getting up there, I'm with that, man. I'm with that.
But it helps us. I reckon the government gets half of it. So.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, how does that work? So if say you're a golfer and you're torn between choosing between the two. And one of them's paying you in the U.S. and one's paying you out of the U.S., you could just set up your bank stuff over there and keep all the money offshore.
I hadn't thought about that.
You LLC yourself in Switzerland.
Yeah. And I'm sure they look at every angle. They got brilliant CPAs
I'm telling you,
and managers for darn sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of that, a little fiscal responsibility comes to play.
We
can circle this thing all the way right back around to the city. Like that?
Yep. In the city, I don't know. I would like to see more initiatives coming out of the city. I'd like to see them more business friendly. I think in the past we've gotten a reputation, and you would know firsthand. But and Rhonda, I think is going to be a great city manager. I'm glad they went there, and I wish they'd go ahead with Keith and make him police chief.
Yeah,
because I think a permanent situation. When we had Alonzo James here, I was on his advisory group, and he was fantastic. And what he did, he was so transparent and so visible in the community, and community policing was a big part. Mm-hmm. And I think Keith is doing a good job at that, of being as transparent. And the sheriff, Jackie's doing a good job at publicizing things. And so I just think, the city's got a lot of challenges ahead of them. I would personally like to see a strategic plan. I think all of us are concerned about the wood ducks. We got a contract through 25, I think.
Yep.
But I'm sure others are going to court them. Greenville would love to have them if they had a facility.
New
Understand New Bern, Wilmington, Jacksonville. But building a stadium now. When Fayetteville built their stadium for minor league, it was $24 million. And understand a duplicate of that right now is $40 million. So, but we got a gold mine. We got Granger.
Yeah.
We keep nickel diming the scoreboard.
You just got to fix the dig, I think. I heard that was that they. Am I wrong on that?
No, they did allocate some money. I think some COVID or PPP money.
Yep.
I think it was $750,000, I believe, and there might be more. But the issue is Major League Baseball. They're cutting back on their minor league teams, and they've got higher standards.
Yep.
And that's dressing rooms, and that's amenities for visiting teams. That's amenities for fans, safety, and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. So, I think Granger was built in '49, I believe. And it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium. I mean, people come here all the time just to view the stadium. Yeah. So we got to maintain it. We got to make it attractive to the Wood Ducks. And I think Texas loves them being here. Mm-hmm. I just, we got to keep people getting in the stands. The Wood Ducks, whenever Woodman had the water park, about 2/3 of the attendees were from out of county. Okay. And I understand the Wood Ducks is the same. About 65-70% of people come from out of county. And they eat at restaurants, and they spend a lot of money. They stop at Mother Earth. They spend the night at the, down the street here. And, it's just a win-win all the way around. Mm-hmm. But you got to, return on investment is important. And I know the money's tight. I know our city's tight, and there's a lot of priorities. We need to fix the streets. And people say, well, do you give money to Wood Ducks or you fix the streets? Well, I think it's a way to do both. I really do. And that comes from a strategic plan, tax base, revenues, those kind of things. But I'd like to see more of a formal strategic plan. Of course, this year, the election, I'd love to hear what the incumbents' goals are. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot from Felicia. I don't hear much from Sammy or Pearl about what their priorities or their initiatives they'd like to see. So I'd like to see more of that. I do hope they have some strong competition. You don't need to be a slam dunk as an incumbent. Mm-hmm. You need to be held accountable. Yep. And that's why I hope we have some. And I think some people will. The key right now, as you well know, Zach, you've got to be able to draw votes from the whole city. Yep. And you got to make sure you're crossing over all the areas. And there's a few people that can do that. And I think there's some people considering it now. But it's quite a race to be out there. And as you know, it's almost a full-time commitment.
That's right.
You just don't ever know. Get out the vote's the key, as you said earlier. Yep. You got to get your base out. Yep. And that's a challenge.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if we were on or not then, but there's just so many people that don't vote.
Right.
And I can't remember what it was, like 23% maybe voted last in the 21. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy low. I mean, there's more than 1 out of 4 residents with something to say about town.
Absolutely.
But we can't get 1 in 4 to even show up to one time for 10 minutes to check a box or two.
There's an awful lot of apathy. And, like you say, those are the ones that complain. Yep. Like the ones on Facebook that complain about things to do, and I always follow up. Well, can I nominate you for their board?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's boards everywhere around here. Tell me about it.
A lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for people to serve. Yep. And I know I heard this morning Rob on Brian's show that the Renaissance Festival, and he's doing a super job with that. Yeah, and they're expecting 20,000, 30,000 people this year.
Crazy.
So, and I mean that's a following for that.
That's the town's population and visitors.
And he's got and I don't understand it all. I've been to one before in the middle of the state, but the Grand Poobah, the King and the Queen are coming in.
Oh, nice.
And he's got our pirate, Steve the Pirate, East Carolina Pirate, he's coming in, Steve Wetzel, nice. And he's a wild man.
I like that.
So they're going to have a good time, but you really appreciate some coming in, you and Travis and Rob and Brandon and some of the others that come in with an initiative willing to, because you have to risk. Yeah. I mean, when you think of it, when I first heard Renaissance Festival in Kinston, same. I'm not sure I'd invest in that, but Rob had a passion for it, and he went out and did it. And last year, I think, was it so hot? Was it Was
I
it?
can't remember if it was the heat or the rain last year.
Yeah,
It was
he
one
had,
of the others.
he had a
Little
few
weather.
setbacks,
Yeah.
but I think
It was still an overwhelming success to
yeah.
what I was expecting it was going to be
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So on that, when we heard about it, we saw 2 days, and we were like, love the ambition on that. And you're like, if like we say a lot of times, and we never really say like, I don't think it'll work, but we hope that does all of that and
That's
more.
right.
And we were genuinely surprised at that. And then like you said, with the kind of the setbacks he had going in with the weather and some things like that, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
those are the events that matter, and that's something that I like to bang the drum on. Of like, if you're in a town where there's not enough revenue, or you're in a town where the a porous district or this or that. Well, then where are you going to get the money to fix it?
That's right.
The people that don't live here.
Right.
So
Exactly
make
right.
it sexy, make it attractive, and let's
Yeah.
get some people that don't live here to come here and then give us some of their money.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, tourism is really, we lost the industries, we lost DuPont and all the industries, so we've got to do everything we can for tourism.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of effort there. There's some other things we can do to promote and market. I think Jan and the Visitors Bureau and Visit Kinston, with the TDA is doing well. But we gotta come together. And again, that comes down to partnerships. You have an idea, you go out and get support for it, and sometimes you might fail. At least you tried.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of things we need to try. I'm anxious for them to get the trail finished out to the community center.
Oh, I totally agree on that.
Because that could be a good walking track, a bicycle, track, and then going down to the music park. They're talking about some additions now to the music park that would draw people in. And I was glad to hear that Vivian is bringing the Chef and the Farmer back.
Yeah, a little different concept, but
In a
still
whole new
something-
concept.
something
I'm anxious
fresh.
to see that cafeteria style
That'll be, yeah.
for Vivian, but I think she's so creative. The Viv's fridge, there's one at Emerald Isle, and it's empty all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that
that was a super smart play for her on just kind of like reconfiguring the revenue, generally keeping the same vibe, or the same, not the vibe obviously of the restaurant, but like keeping her cash flow going by doing something that was a little more hands off, I think, and a little bit more something that was a lot easier for her to grow without having her hands in it all the time. I think that is, from a business perspective, that's
absolutely.
exactly what she did, which was brilliant.
But she's a brilliant business person. She really is, and a good marketer. And but I think a lot of people ask about, because it drew so many people in.
Yes.
And I think it got so famous because we had so many people to come in and say, well, I'm gonna come visit with you, but we got to go to the Chef and the Farmer.
Yeah.
I said, well, no problem at all. And we always loved going there. We really did. Whenever we brought all the Woodman people in, when we did the community center, all of our attorneys and architects and all that, they always had to eat at the Chef and the Farmer.
Yep. And that it brought the type of people that want to walk around and go ahead and stay a night.
Yep.
So you got the heads and beds tax on them.
Yep.
You got them for breakfast or coffee the next morning.
Yep.
And you got them for the evening. You're going to get them for some drinks before and after, probably.
Yep.
And that's a big bill. I mean, $500 for a couple to come spend 24 hours in Kinston. And people laugh, oh, well, they were doing it. They're still doing it to a degree. I mean, there's still people that coming in to hit different spots. I mean, Stanley's and Harp and Dills is pulling people from all over just because of the marketing. Again, just creative marketing, always being consistent on posting and making it look exciting and fun.
Yep.
You make it seem like you can't miss it. You better not. And then fear of missing out starts to set in, and people start coming out because they heard about it and they got to check it out for themselves.
I think once she opens up, and it kind of gave a jump start to the Bentley. And, of course, Stephen, I wonder if Stephen would have done his thing if the chef wasn't a possibility. Stephen probably would have, because he loves the community so much. But you got the brewery, you got so much. I mean, Laughing Hell is so good. Jay's, it's just such a good downtown vibe right now. And you just appreciate people venturing out and having it. You got Lubbock's and Steve and Christina, they're going to be there. I knew his dad real well. He was in the Lions Club with me, and that's been such a tradition. And they've taken it to the next level, marketing and fixing the building up.
Online.
And,
Online ordering, the whole takeout thing on the side. I mean, super adaptive to the trends and what is making the money, man. I mean, me and Steve talk about that frequently, of like, because I'm a nerd for like, how's the online helping a business that's been around since
absolutely.
1941?
Yeah.
and then hear him say like the takeout and the online stuff is sometimes half the bill for the day.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. Like that's what you want. That's so great.
He's done such a good job. Now, have you tried a dough burger?
I've not had a dough burger in my 3.5 years still. I saw one the other day with jalapenos on it.
In my 40-something years, I've not had a dough burger.
Cool. We'll just keep it like that. I don't know, but
they got too much good other stuff.
That's my problem.
Because I see him drop it down in the grease, and Jeff, I look at him, and okay, not for me.
Yeah, it's not.
But they got too much good stuff not to.
Well, who knows? We hit this recession, man. We might all be eating dough burgers again. For real.
God, I hope not.
I like the sausage over there. The big, like the large ones, not the little links, but the big ones are. Yeah. Man, that stuff is good. Just the right spice.
Well, I like the link. I'll kind of motion to Jeff one or two, but I like to take the fresh sausage, the little small links, and put it in a piece of white bread. Yeah. And they press it. It's called a sausage roll. Uh-huh. Oh my God! And I slap your mama good.
Yeah, you do that.
I shouldn't say that online. I'm sorry. I'm a supporter of preventing domestic violence.
That's a slap your leg.
I'm sorry.
Or something.
Yeah, slap your.
Do you do that with the mustard?
Slap your Wolfpack mustard. Got to have mustard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have had that.
Ooh.
I don't know. I think I was in there one time and Christina was making me something else, and then I think I had just moved here, and I stopped in and she was like, "And take one of these too." And I was like, "She's like just." I was like, okay, and I got in my car and was like, "What's up? Like, let's go."
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, the women wanted to do something, and we did some catering with our police department, our sheriff department, and some of our nursing staff. And Steve was always there. Mm-hmm. And when Judy Johnson was over, and we really missed Judy over at the restaurant, but she did some catering for us, and we got good caterers around. I mean, Susan Calamaro and Steve and. We use Darlene Brown at Brown Sweet Treats a lot. Mm-hmm. They're on Vernon Avenue, and a lot of people don't realize she's a good baker, but she also caters a lot.
Really? Okay.
So, and of course, Joe at King's, he's killing it because he does such a good job too.
Yeah, another one with the major online sales.
Oh yeah.
Good golly.
Well, I was out there today.
That's awesome.
We had a group of friends that met out just to kind of shoot the bull, and we were in the back room, and they were packing the stuff. And I bet they had 200 Orange Express packages going out. And I always send. I tell Joe, I said, "Joe, tell me when you got free shipping, because I like to ship stuff to my boys in California because they got to have." And my youngest son likes their pecan pie, pecan pie, and I sent him two out there, and they were like $30. The postage. The shipping was $50. I said, you got to find you a pecan pie in California because I ain't sending you no more.
Yeah, no doubt.
But about once a year, Joe will do free shipping, and he says I'm the only one he loses money on because it goes to California. Oh. But he's got a gold mine. He's still, the Kings did a good job, but Joe is taking over. And Joe's a Citizen of the Year. He was 2 or 3 years ago. He was our Citizen of the Year.
Nice.
So. Very, very deserving.
Yeah, I love chatting with him, man. I've been chatting with him more and more here recently. I had him on the pod and stuff earlier on. And
he's a character now.
I love it.
He's a character.
I love it. I love all of that characterism from those types of people, for sure.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Reminds me of like hanging out with my dad and my uncle. Some stuff that wouldn't be said on TV is going to be said.
Yeah,
like, I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Yeah, you get them in kind of an informal situation. It gets really interesting. Like with all of us,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's certain things we wouldn't say here on the air that might come out, in a social setting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, man, that's a big thing of it too. You talked about like people running and jumping in and doing the council stuff, and it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm excited to check out how that kind of like unfolds too. It's still like end of July to register type of game.
It is
rolling in.
Yeah. And I've heard a couple of names. Again, I think you've got to be able to get your voting base out, and you've got to be able to cross over. And I think people who have been involved in a lot of nonprofits that a lot of the community knows in different ways. I think it's going to take a lot of that, a lot of visibility. But I think social media has gotten so important too. I think Chris Suggs used social media about as good as you can use social media, and you always know where Chris is coming from. And I appreciate the transparency. He posts the agenda now.
Yeah, I like that.
Encouraging people to always go online for the meetings because you just kind of like to see. Sometimes it's funny, but
like on a Monday, Tuesday, like sometimes there's nothing really more entertaining on the tube than
I agree.
a good old council meeting. That one's super positive for me from the COVIDs.
Yep.
the COVID thing, and then putting those meetings as like Zooms on Facebook when I first moved here. I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic for being new somewhere and trying to figure it all out.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I wasn't probably gonna, if those weren't on Facebook, I probably would have never really gone down there to watch one.
That's right.
And then they would have never been, you know, you can read the minutes, or you could go find maybe a video link. I don't really know how that was set up before all that, but I was never really going to be too super interested in that. And then boom, it's like it's in your face and you get to check it out. Very, very awesome.
It really is.
Great for the transparency, but like just people don't have a clue what's going on where they live sometimes, and it's crazy how much they can allow a national political thing to influence their vote right here in their own backyard. And then here we are in a situation where everyone's unhappy, but no one wants to put the time in to realize why they're unhappy, or like what decisions are being made by the people that you blindly voted for or voted for, and what are they actually doing? Like, what did they take with your vote and then do for you? How has your life changed in their 4 years? You talked about incumbents.
Right.
What's their plan being for the next 4? What have you done in the first 4?
What kind of impact have they had? That's a biggie.
Show me and tell me what you have done already. It should be very easy for incumbents to lay it out and crush newcomers.
Well, I wish we had more informed voters. Like you say, they just don't do their homework, and you vote for somebody because they seem like a good person. Well, they're a terrible city council member. If you watch city council, they don't read their information. They're uninformed. Sometimes they'll ask a question 10 minutes later that's already been clarified, and you wonder, where's their focus? And that's what you look out for: the interaction, the focus. Are they coming to the table doing their homework? And see, I'm a strong proponent of a city council member being, I always say, visible and valuable. You need to see them at almost everything in the community, talking to the citizens, because they're truly the eyes and ears of the city. And if you're not out there asking people what they think about this or think about that, or what's your opinion, or what would you like to see, are you willing to pay a little more tax if we do this, or if we cut back, do you realize the impact it has? And I just don't people that they don't ask those kind of questions. And that's very discouraging, especially right now, because the city they're going to have to do some things very creatively to generate some funds. And again, get back to business. They've got to get out there and find some business to come in, because that's where our tax base is. Yeah,
that's kind of where I go with it too. Is like, what is currently being done by the 5 that we have in general? And you could lump a mayor in and say 6 people that are the face of town. Is there outgoing calls to businesses? Right. Is there any relationship building with business owners in surrounding communities that are growing really quickly and are probably going to need a place to expand? Like, is there any of that forward thinking going on, or are we just waiting until the GTP rolls up with a new company, and then right at the last minute be like, oh, they're just going to be outside the city limits? Like, what are we doing to actively get business people to come here and do their business? Like, online businesses. People that run businesses on the internet, like ours, is the perfect person to try and draw here. Someone young that wants to do positive things where they live and runs a business that's largely on the internet. If you can plug into the wall and have a UPS truck come by, you're in there with e-commerce. Why can't we get, and what are we doing to draw those types of business owners in specifically? I mean, they're a home run. They're a home run.
I was on the United Way Budget and Allocation Committee this year, just looking at recommendations to the board, and I met a guy named Brian Kraft, and just the nicest guy in the world. But he kind of has ventured out there, and he believes in Kinston, and I'd like to get to know him more, because he's an entrepreneur too in his own right. But I think everything he does is social media based, internet based, and I just think those the things that y'all do here, because look what y'all done to the corner here. But I just think there's so much that can be done. But you got to, again, business friendly is not criticizing, but it's just, are you engaged with the Committee of 100? Because that's where the resources are for incentives. And the city, can't afford a whole lot of incentives right now. But there's other incentives you can give. And then working, when someone moves into the community, I always heard the first thing they're going to check into are the schools. Are you doing everything you can to, and I know the city doesn't have a function with the schools, but there's got to be some engagement there. And, if the schools need support to be a better school, and I think we have excellent education system right now. It gets a lot of criticism, but I think Brent's doing a good job, and I think Nick and Felicia and those and Francis are doing a good job. making, because we got good teachers. Now that's another issue is the city. How do you our police? How do you recruit and retain? Because we can't pay the salaries to keep people. And you look at these young officers, and they're trained them well. I think they're very committed. But if they get offered $10,000 to go to Greenville, they got
20%, 25% raise.
Yep. So I think that's something we've got. And you mentioned early an idea, almost a little enterprise fund, to have pockets of law enforcement in different areas in the city.
Yep.
But that's a biggie with a budget that's challenging.
Yep.
But I think we got our law enforcement is very important. We got to support them. So just a lot of challenges.
They do a great job. They answer when called upon. I mean, they're there. They're being visible right now. They're doing a really good job. The social media stuff they've been doing since Keith's been in there and Brian's been doing is awesome. They're putting it out there. I mean, they're making it so easy that the news literally just copies the post and then puts it on their page. I mean, that's literally the KPD is doing such a good job of writing press releases that the news doesn't even have to do anything. But copy and paste. It's fantastic for them, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, that's the transparency that you need, and that's what gets you that buy-in from the community, and that's what gets, the clear talks is another great thing they're doing, where they're meeting around and
I love that.
Just shooting it here and there and hanging out and getting to know people. That's what it takes over time.
Yeah.
It's not going to change it in 6 months,
Yeah.
but in 6 years, it's going to be much different kind of like rhetoric or like feeling between the community and the police department for sure.
And that's an extension I like to see the city council do is have open forums, topical forums, no matter what it is, to see what citizens have to say, listen to them. Because I think, that's a very easy thing to do. You set up at the library and say, we're going to be talking about this tonight. Come out and give us your feedback.
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't feel like they have a voice. If you don't have a voice, then you're disengaged.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And again, that gets back to the voter. If you feel like you're engaged with the city, you're going to vote and see who the best leaders of your city are.
Yeah, you're going to put a little more time in than grabbing the card on the way in the door or pulling up in the parking lot and someone walking over to you and handing you a card. I've seen that happen, and it just...
I know. I always like...
Don't even vote. Like,
see, that's the thing. If you're not, if you're just going to check it...
that drives me crazy.
Yeah. But I always like to work the polls for who I'm supporting, and it has no impact. People know who they're going to vote generally.
Yeah, when you're pulling up, you're...
But I always like to ask them, I said, here's a card for so-and-so, and let me ask you, what are your issues that you're thinking about that impact your vote? And most of them, 75%, well, I just seem like a good person. Yeah, I think they're doing a good job. Why are they doing a good job? Well, they're just doing a good job. Yeah. So, again, it gets back to the informed. What are they doing in a positive way to impact you as a citizen of Kinston?
Yep. And,
what kind of things would you like for them to do? And I don't think there's enough dialogue there.
Yeah, for sure.
I really don't.
For sure. You really can't name 3 things that, for each person that you're like, I remember when they ran, these were the 3 things. And then, like, being able to go back and check the accountability of, like, anything was done about them. Like, you don't even know what the things were. It was just like,
yep.
What are we doing here? What are we doing? I liked how BJ did the interviews with everybody for News. That was fantastic. He sits everyone down. Yep. Jason McKnight's interviews I thought were good too. I enjoyed those.
They were good.
And if you really watch them and stuff, you can, if you're willing to put in about an hour to 2 to sit there and watch them all, you do get a really quick idea of who's
and BJ's
doing what.
Good at interviewing. He's been there, done that as mayor, and he knows the right questions to ask. Yeah. And sometimes they do what I call the barnyard shuffle around questions. Yeah. Well, let's see, what's the next question? Well, let me answer that one first. Let's see. Yeah. But it's just trying to be informed the best way you can, and I do hope we have a full slate this year. You just got to get some good people to run, and I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this is only council. The mayor will not be up for another 2 years.
Right.
This is just the 3 council seats.
Yeah, 3 of 5. It's a lot.
Well, I told Chris. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I talked to Chris about. Chris is a power broker right now, because if you look at the votes, a lot of times it's 2 and 2, and Chris is a swing vote, and I think Chris has an opportunity to really have an impact, and I think he is having an impact. I think that the Woodmen this year honored him as our emerging leader in the community, because I think he's doing a good job. But again, you got to stay focused. No politician. I'm not saying Chris does this or the mayor does this, but you can't let ego get in the way. And I think there's a tendency because you get so much reinforcement.
Yeah.
And on social media, you get so much attention and so much feedback. A lot of times it can go to your head. And I think that's a big challenge. What is my focus? What are my priorities? What are my agendas? Am I listening to my citizens? And am I willing to take a tough vote when you have to?
Yeah.
Because I think when it came down to the pay raise, I really struggled with that because when you look at the city trying to find revenues, you got the police out there, you got all your city employees, and I know it was minimal in the long run with the budget, but still, you got to be a role model.
Yep.
I think that's another thing about city council. I'm going to look out for my employees first. And I'm sure you do that with your business. You got to look out for your employees to retain them. And then, there might be some perks that you could give. Yeah. And I know they did some studies and this kind of thing, but I just didn't think it was a good time for a pay raise.
Yeah, totally agree on that one, man. You can't be upside down and asking for more. I mean, you got Heritage, to my knowledge, I wasn't here in 1972, but I was told that 1972 was the last time that it was actually paved, like the whole thing.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
50 years.
I know.
50. Oh, you could probably say that every car that rode on it that first year that it was paved no longer runs.
That's right.
Except for like 7 that are in these barns out here in the country, these really nice cars. But like pretty much that's crazy terrible.
Yep.
You got no lines on the street.
Yep.
This is one of the most, I don't know I'd love to know the data of like cars go by this intersection every day.
My gosh.
It's a ton. I sit right here now, and it's a ton of cars. And there's no like lines for pedestrians to cross the street within a crosswalk. Yeah. But we have tourists. That's what we come to downtown, drop some money in the bucket.
Yep.
And we don't have a line on the daggone road to tell you where. That's troubling. There's got to be some paint money out there for some lines.
Well, and creative things like New Bern did such a good job with their own street dining.
Yes. And
we've got unbelievable opportunities here. They've done a good job over here. The one between the buildings, but the on street, you put a table out and 4 chairs. You can sit outside, and it's not only good for them because we love wherever we travel, we try to sit outside. Right. Just something different about it.
Yep.
But then people say, "Gosh, man, they got that kind of I can sit outside, enjoy people coming by, and all that." But I mean, that's initiative, and I understand it's really blown downtown New Bern up.
You ready for an idea?
All
right. Take North Street from Queen to Heritage.
Okay.
Just right there where Sugar Hill, Mother Earth, axe throwing, laughing out. Close it. No through traffic. Pedestrian mall only.
That'd be fantastic.
All you're going to do is expand the epicenter of development out a little bit.
Right.
Where are the 22 cars going to park? How many open slots are on Queen Street right this second? At least 22. And the only people that park on North Street are the daggone employees of the businesses anyway.
I know. Well, you and I talked about that before.
Drives me crazy. Quit parking in front of your business, please. Stop doing it.
Yeah. The Chamber's tried to address that before and with a couple of business people, and it's become a mood issue.
Yeah. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any transient retail business at my place, and I still park like off the street or way down there because, people coming to I want all these other businesses to do really well. So if I'm jamming them up, I'm hurting my property values, right? In theory, in the long run, every person that owns a spot down here is in the same team because if we all do well, all of our property values go up. And what are we really making money on? Property really is where the money's at.
That's where it
our
is.
Businesses are great, but real estate's where it's at.
Yeah.
And we all know that because we all bought, right? Yep. So why would you make it, you're jamming, if you're not jamming yourself up, you're jamming up your neighbor, which is jamming you up in your long-term goals too, to a degree. It's just I don't understand that too much.
Well, honestly, when I pick up food, either from Jay's or Laughing Out or wherever, I'll park over in front of Rio, because it's easier to get in and out.
Yeah.
And I don't think there'd be a lot of, there's no security issues. You got all the spots behind the chamber.
Yeah.
You got the whole Queen Street. So, no, that's a great idea. That really is.
You could even do like end cap parking. So you don't close it all the way at Heritage and all the way at Queen. You bring it in 20 feet. And then you'll love this.
Yeah.
There's no handicap parking in downtown.
That's right.
Handicap accessible for a van. doesn't exist.
Wow.
There's one spot that's handicapped right over by Gino's, but it doesn't have a ramp until you go all the way to the corner. So you got to get out of your van and then ride in the middle of the street for like 50 feet to get to the curb.
Yeah.
So you can't, if you're wheelchair bound down here, you really can't use the downtown.
Yeah.
So my thought would be you put 3 van accessible handicaps on either end.
Yeah.
Now the only parking that's on North Street is handicap accessible and it's set up correctly.
Wow.
That's where you can get that federal money for that. I mean, I don't know, would that be ADA? There's got to be some cash that we could pull,
I'm sure
and then that almost
challenges.
pays for the project.
Yeah. Well, we finally have some influence in Raleigh, and I have to give them credit. Chris Humphrey's having an impact. Jim Perry is having a remarkable impact.
Yeah, he's always getting on. I saw he was on like a finance thing.
Yeah,
finance
he's chairman of the finance committee. And, he just got a big grant for the homeless shelter to fix us up for women and children.
Nice.
And to make bathrooms handicap accessible. He got the gate a big grant.
I like the gate too.
So Jim, Jim's doing a great job, and I think Jim's a heck of a fundraiser, and I think his fundraising has made him very a lot of stature statewide, and he's just a smart guy. He really is. But we finally have that influence. So those are the kind of things, and again, it comes with a strategic plan, and I think they got a plan for paving the streets, but it's like $50,000 a year or something.
Yeah, I think that's something that that's something BJ had given me a figure on a long time ago, and it was like the need or the recommendation for upkeep was somewhere in the $200,000-$300,000 a year range, but we only allocate about 50.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, like that makes sense. You do that for a couple of years, and you're $1 million in the hole.
Well, that gets back to merging the city and the county. The county has good resources. The city has got a tight budget. So, could we do better together? And look at what we do with the barbecue festival, closing streets off.
Yeah.
Very few people complain about that. Right. If you got a small business, it might be a little impacted. Yeah. I know for a while, Lester's was impacted because they closed that whole area, and a lot of their business is Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's true.
And when Allison had her hair place here, she had a family once. First time they closed it off, she had a wedding group set up, and they couldn't get in.
Wow.
And she had a nightmare. But you get plenty of notice and close the street.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's an unbelievable idea.
I think it'd be sweet, man. It would expand the epicenter of investment in downtown because now you'd be pushing extra people to park on Queen, which means people with money enough to go out on the weekends and spend a little are going to park their car and walk past empty storefronts.
Yep.
It's only going to happen for so long, and they're going to be like, someone's going to be like, look at all this foot traffic.
Something's got to happen.
There's a retail spot right here. Look at all the foot traffic. You start expanding, you make people walk past the empty stuff, and you start making the value of it go up.
Absolutely.
And then people will move into it. I think it's just a little teeny tiny way to expand it without too much hassle. I mean, a couple of concrete barriers, not a whole lot of cash to really do it. And you know what? There's not even like you'd have to scrape all the paint off the street because it's gone anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to worry about that, do you?
Yeah, don't even have to worry about it.
And that might be a project the TDA might embrace because it would certainly increase tourism.
Oh,
because you look at Heritage. Well, that's the Tourism Development Authority. That's the. Okay. But you look at the new florist down here. Yeah. Kevin's doing a good job. Big investment for him. You look at across the street that wedding venue.
Yeah, they spent some money on that.
Holy cow!
They spent some money on that. I was a big fan of that comp on the real estate side.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a good comp for residential downtown on a fully redone building yet.
Yep.
So that was really good for that was awesome for all business owners. So thanks, Wade and wife. I don't know your name, but
yeah, they've done a super job there. But you got so many good things down here, and the apartments that are going up above the buildings.
Yeah.
And I think before so long, before too long, somebody will pick up Christopher's, and there will be somebody to pick up the movie theater. I think that's such a nice venue.
Yeah.
There's
some just above Laughing Owl, and it extends over to it might be over Consign Designs or something like that. It's right next to Gino's. Yeah. But there's an second floor entry right there next to Laughing Owl. Oh, wow. You could put probably 3, maybe 4 apartments up there.
Oh my!
And it's cleared right now, ready to go. Like
that'd be fantastic.
A couple of those. Yeah. I mean, that's what. And then you start bringing in young professionals because those are the type of people that are going to want to live there. Yeah. And now you start building your tax base, and it's people that have got 30, 40 years left.
Yeah.
That's having people move in and cash out their house in city XYZ and move here and pay cash for their homes is great. But generally, those people that don't have a lot of years left of paying taxes, they generally don't have children to put in the school system.
That's true. Yeah.
If you can start getting the younger folks, you start pulling, you get a 30, 32, 34, 35-year-old person to move in.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have a family. You got them for 30, 40 years of paying taxes. That's what you want. And
Well,
then it starts building that back up.
These are kind of the ideas, you get partnerships between like Leon with Pride and Committee of 100, and y'all got a downtown, I think, a merchants thing that Tanya's involved with. But get that dialogue and brainstorming, and it might end up costing the city nothing to do certain things like that.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and it's just like the city being proactive in those things and being creative with how they position it. Like the marketing from the city needs to be things of like new initiative, second floor residential, new initiative this, and it's positive things. Letting the only news that comes out of your spot for your town for 90 days be that you started a crime commission because crime is so bad is a bad look. Like, I get that you may need that, but do two positive, put out two things that are like, we're doing this that's positive and this is positive, and then there's that third thing that's like, we're doing this for the crime, and it doesn't make it seem like, you get it. If you're going on vacation or you're going to take a weekend somewhere, you want to go to some place that has some positivity in the news.
Yeah. And we had that kind of energy when Vivian first moved here. There's so much energy downtown and people coming in. But I think you've got to, you got to take that initiative. You've got to, I don't know. I had some issues with the Crime Commission too, just because it highlights it too much. How many commissions do we have? A commission for downtown development? Do we have a commission for youth protection? And I know that could be a part of the crime thing, which is a shame anyway. But I think this, how are we promoting and marketing the city? And we don't have a public information officer now. That's another thing. And I know budget's tight, but it's kind of the chicken or the egg. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to invest money to make money and to get revenue and taxes and people in. Mm-hmm. And that's a challenge. And I don't want to criticize the city. If I was that critical, I'd run for the council. Right. I'd rather be a part of the solution. Mm-hmm. than continue to reinforce the problem. So I think there's enough solutions out there for them to at least try and be creative. And hopefully, the three incumbents, and I assume they're all three going to run. I don't know that. But
I've not heard either.
But hopefully, and it's still early, I hope they'll come in with some good initiatives and to be held accountable. Because like I said earlier, that's the big thing. Do we remember 4 years ago what Sammy promised, or what Pearl promised, or what Felicia? Now, Felicia came out when she ran for mayor with a lot of initiatives. Yep. So you kind of know where Felicia stands. Yep. And, I hope she runs again, but I don't know.
I'm with that too. And it seems like she seems to be the one, Chris is doing a good job of coming in with ideas, and then, he's keeping tabs on things and being like, hey, we brought it up here, we brought it up here, we brought it up here, and we keep kicking the can. Yeah. We need to decide, and her jumping on with that and being like, guys, we got to make a decision here. Yeah. We can't just constantly push things down the river, so to speak.
Well, when you watch council meetings, you know who's engaged. Yeah. And you know who asks the right questions, and you know who wants to, okay, like you say, it's a good plan. It might fail, but let's try it. Yeah. And let's do something positive, and let's get some more citizens involved, and let's have some positive efforts and positive commissions and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Yeah. I wish them the best. I'm at an age where if it's 20 years ago, I'd be right in the middle of it. I'd probably running for mayor last time or council this time, but I'm at a point in my life where we enjoy traveling. We have a place at the beach, but we still love Kinston, and we spend a lot of our time here. But BJ made a comment recently. So I'm really surprised you're as engaged as you are at your age. I said, well, I'm going to love my city at 100. Yeah. And, I believe you can't live here without having some kind of input or, some kind of, trying to impact the positive things.
Yeah. What are 3 things you'd want to see in a 5-year plan for the city?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think the streets are going to have to be addressed as one of the top 3. That's probably not my top one. I'd like to see a formal strategic plan to see what the priorities of the city are. And probably the third one is probably law enforcement. Try to come up with a part of the strategic plan to continue to beef up our law enforcement. I mean, so many initiatives that you could have, but I think those are three that could have a positive impact and help our image. Like you say, the streets, you know, that's pathetic.
That really 50 years is a long time.
Yeah. And again, I know budgets are tight, but you got to set priorities. And I think that would say a whole lot to our citizens. I kidded Bill Ellis. Bill was interim city manager once.
Gotcha.
And his street got paved during that period of time. And he got more grief.
Of course.
But there were some major issues there. But because they had to. I mean, it was cracking. It was dangerous. But we gave Bill so much grief that, you need to, you need to extend that out.
Yeah, a little bit. That is funny, though. That is funny. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like it's very straightforward. And, I kind of asked you before off camera because I didn't really know because I had talked to someone before and they said, well, fines and fees go to education or something along those lines. And I don't know how that really is allocated. But, you talked about the enterprise things. And I think every person in this town thinks that people speed on Vernon. Right. Everyone thinks that people run a lot of red lights on Vernon.
Yeah.
And no one parks on the correct side of the street. So I think if you just, could make all fines from these things for 5 years go towards paving the streets, I don't think people how could you really complain about that? You know what I mean? It'd be very straightforward. Or my personal one is just parking tickets downtown.
Yep.
And then dedicate that money to KPD officers that are only in the downtown all the time, like almost like a Main Street district only. Just to have it, it'd be nice. It would really do a lot. You can tell the vibe down here is a lot different when you've got a car or two parked. They're grabbing a bite to eat. People mind their P's and Q's a little more when they see a cruiser around. When they see someone in uniform every hour roll through. I mean, some of the safest, most expensive neighborhoods that you would ever want to live in a suburb of Columbus. You don't go to Gahanna and go 37 and a 35.
Oh, really?
You don't go around Murfield Village where they play the Memorial.
Oh, yeah.
You don't go 37 and a 35. They will pull you over right now.
Oh, wow.
And it's known. Well, do you think a lot of drug dealers are like, you want to set up in Dublin? Nope. They pull you over for 37 and 35. Probably we don't even want to go there. But it sets a precedent very early on. And then people growing up.
Yeah.
It's not that people aren't growing up fearing the police because they're going to get a speeding ticket. It's just, it says 35 because it's 35.
Yeah.
And then when it's yellow, it means slow down, not hit the gas.
Yeah.
Little things.
Well, Pride has had a fund for years that our utility payments, you can round it up.
Oh, okay.
And those monies go into a specific fund for downtown. I'm not sure what they do. But, I think a lot of people, if you give an opportunity to, pay 5% more taxes, but specifically for road development.
Right.
Or, I don't know. There's got to be some ways. I'm not sure if that's even legal. But,
I don't know the legalities of these things either.
But it's got to be revenues that can be developed somehow. I know they put in for grants, and they've done a lot. I know the mayor travels a lot to all these places. I assume he's trying to bring money back to Kinston through grants and that kind of thing. And I know we just had a law enforcement grant, I think, for training. Yep. And those are the kind of things that we need to, And people say, well, that's not quality of life. Yes, it is. Pride in your community, that's a major quality of life issue. And there's got to be ways that we can do that.
Yep, totally agree.
You just got to get the right minds together, people that think outside the box, like yourself, like Travis, like so many people that are coming in and having an impact quickly. You got to think outside the box and say, hey, why can't we do this?
Right.
And I think there's got to be answers from the city. Well, maybe we need to try that. I don't know.
Yep.
A lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities.
Tons of opportunity, man. That's why I'm here. I'm big on that. Like I said, I don't know if you know this story or not, but when we came down here in July of 2019 to see if we wanted to move to Kinston, we'd never been here before.
Yeah.
We came down and we saw Queen Street ripped up.
Yep.
And we were like, sweet. No, we loved it.
Right.
Because where we come from, maybe we're a little naive, but where we come from, when a government drops that kind of money, good things tend to follow for the people that follow in the footsteps. The little guy investor that can follow those larger investments. So it checked a lot of boxes. We like the real estate game. My dad does that in Ohio. So we were looking at the housing market.
Yeah, right.
Affordability.
Right.
For people with not a lot of money to get started doing some real estate, great opportunities here. Absolutely. Tons of houses you can get for a good price, fix them up, rent them out. There's no nicely renovated rentals available for professionals. There's tons of professionals being moved in. I mean, it's almost like if you could put together a rental property every 3 months and just be really good friends with an HR director at like 3 different businesses at the GTP, you're never even going to have to list your properties.
That's true.
There's so much opportunity. The downtown real estate, the private, the residential, there's a lot of opportunity, especially for us in particular, because we are what I described earlier. I need internet access and a UPS guy.
That's right.
If I got those 2 things, I can do everything here that I can do in a big city except pay a lot of rent money.
That's true. Well, that's good that all that came together, that chemistry came together. Because I think a lot of people do look at Kinston and, you know, for whatever the attraction, and it's another thing, I reckon it's the 3.5 goal are the wood ducks. Yeah. You know, the city's got to figure out a way to keep the wood ducks here in Kinston.
Yeah, I would like to know what that revenue figure is to the city, the economic impact. I know for a fact, I don't because I'm not in their books, but I feel pretty strongly that the Motor Lodge would hurt. Oh. They would hurt tremendously if they didn't sell out the hotel for, how many series? I can't remember. They play about 70 games or so at home, 10 weeks a year.
Oh, yeah. Well, look at Lubbock's. They cater the meals. You look at King's. You look at all the impact. You look at the people they employ during the summer.
Employees, generally young people too.
Yeah. So you know, you get kids from college back home, which we want to do. Maybe they'll feel good and come back after they graduate and start a business or work here. So there's so many positive impacts. And I know people. Well, it's baseball. Well, no, it's economic development.
It's development,
and it's like the water park. You know, the water park has done extremely well the 10 years it's been in operation. And people say, oh, people won't come to Kinston for a water park. Well, guess what? There's not another in East North Carolina. Yeah. And the thing that I like the most, the first year we opened, Greenville has a thing in their paper, darts and arrows. And they said, how can Kinston get a water park and a community center, and we get a parking deck? I loved it. Because, you know, we just hate, well, we don't hate them, but, you know, we're very competitive with Greenville. Yeah. And for them to look at our community center in water park and say, how in the world did that happen? Well, that happened with a lot of people coming together. The city and the county and private enterprise and all that, just coming together in partnerships. Yep. And I think that's what we've got to do. If we've got a project we need to support, let's get some partnerships going and make it happen.
Yeah, you got to put the right people at the table, man.
That's the thing. And you got people that are not naysayers, and you know, sometimes a naysayer can kill a whole group. Yeah. If you let them.
Yeah, if you let them. Yeah, for sure. That's why you got to get them.
Get them after the meeting. Exactly. Let Guido visit with them.
Yeah. Exactly. My stepmom's from kind of that part of New York.
Oh, so okay. Yeah, you know Guido.
Yeah, her dad was like, we met him, and he was like, I won't butcher the accent, but he comes in and he starts, you know, they're very boisterous or enthusiastic with the language. And he was like, I hadn't seen Goodfellas, but he's like, yeah, you know so-and-so from Goodfellas? And he's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, he's like, he was on our block, you know, we knew him.
Oh, my gosh, you're kidding.
He's like, so my cousin worked for, you know, obviously. And he was like, I was like, gee, when Christmas, get out of here. And they're, my stepmom's Uncle Sal.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. He does owns a trucking business.
Oh, okay.
Well, there for a good period of time, maybe still now, he was the only person with a permit to dump off of like some docks at yeah, it was like
he got that
into the water. Yeah, I'm like, how do you get that and why do you need it?
That's where Guido gets involved.
Yeah, I was like, no wonder you moved to Ohio. You got to get out of there.
Get on Tony Soprano, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. I was like, Dad, you're Irish. Like, how did you end up with an Italian lady?
You know, no.
Stuff, but
wow.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, my youngest son's dating a New Jersey girl.
Yeah, okay.
And that's been a new experience.
Yeah.
I mean, she's special to us, but boy, New Jersey.
Yeah.
She's a Jersey girl.
Mm-hmm. They talk a little faster, you know?
Yes, they do.
We had a couple in on Saturday, and they're from Baltimore. Okay. And it's funny, man, because like it's kind of like a good old time, like going back to, because we come from a major, you know, Columbus isn't like a major city, but it's big enough.
It is big.
And to like, you know, be away from it for so long, and then we meet people that aren't from here, and they're still very much in their like city. You know, they lived in a major city their whole life, and they're like, and they talk over you, and they talk over each other, and they'll cut you off, and this and that. No. And we love it because it's like you're like competing to like get your word in, you know, before they start their next story, and then you forget your thing. Wow. And they left, and I was like. She was like, that was fun. And I was like, I know. Wasn't it like kind of weird to like have one of those conversations again where you're like, but wait, instead of it being more laid back and a little slower.
We got some neighbors at the beach, and of course, Pine Shores they criticize it for being, you know, the northern village, but a lot from Pennsylvania and Ohio and New York, and you know, it's a lot of fun to get to know them. It really is a whole different perspective.
It's true. Very different perspective, but but yeah, man. I think bringing people like that together in towns like this helps with kind of stirring up that pot of creativity, though, and getting it going. Definitely helps you bring the fresh ideas, like you're saying, the things that need to, when you need fresh ideas or a fresh perspective or a creative way to get out of a jam, so to speak, which is kind of about where we're at. Yeah, it definitely helps.
Well, you can't be complacent. You know, anytime you're complacent, you're going backwards. Yep. And I think that's what we need is a good plan, some good energy, the right people at the table, and just, you know, I'd like to see a city council that's respected statewide for being creative. Mm-hmm. You know, Cary, that's why Cary's there, that they had some strong leadership and brought in some new people like Jim Goodnight that put a lot of money in it, you know, the Cary Academy and built Harrison Boulevard and all that. Okay. And we got potential here. I mean, we got some people, a lot of people moving in. Yeah. And, you know, we lost a lot of people that I remember a lot of times with United Way, if we go short, or the Scouts, if we need money, you could call certain people and get that, you know, the rest of the money, 40, 50,000 or whatever. Well, very few now that you can do because, you know, those people have moved on and their next generation has kind of a different attitude about, you know, spreading the money out and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we gotta do the best with the resources we got and look at how we can generate more resources. Yep,
and keep the ones we got.
Absolutely.
Keep that revenue flowing, for sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, cool, man.
This was fun.
Got anything else to add on that? We kind of.
I probably got enough trouble already, Zach. You know, thank God I got a place at the beach. I can leave town when I need to.
Yeah, no doubt. I like seeing the pictures too when you're out there, especially the midweek ones. I'm like, yes, that's why I'm grinding still, man. I'm trying to get that beach house too.
You'll be there one of these days. Yeah. We got ours right before the market went up, and we were very fortunate. One of the condos right down from us just sold for 2.5 times what ours sold for 3 years ago.
That's crazy.
And Graham Speared, you know Graham. Yeah. Uh-huh. Graham has a place at ours too, and he hooked me into this. Nice. So we're so blessed, and we, you know, once you cross that bridge at Emerald Isle, you know, it's kind of like I'm bipolar, and a whole different personality comes out. Right. It's relaxing, no expectations. You chill, and you know that's what I enjoy. Yeah. Gear back up to come back into Kinston.
Right. Yeah. Well, plus you get to, you know, it's when you're not going down there trying to get over that bridge on the weekend. That's the key. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole different level of bipolarism.
Well, like I used to criticize the people that criticize tourists. I don't like tourists now. This is the best time to be at the beach. You can get in restaurants. You can not have to worry about traffic. Because, you know, once the tourists come in between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we just hunker down. Mm-hmm. You know, we just stay there, and because the traffic, you know, you still got a 2-lane road the whole island. Yeah. So that gets tight, and the restaurants you can't hardly get in.
I like the aquarium out there.
Aquarium's really nice.
Aquarium is cool.
But they've done a good job, and they do a lot of neat stuff there. Mm-hmm. And then our place is right next to the Trinity Center, which is right in the middle of the island, and they do a super job. That's the Episcopal Retreat Center, and they do a lot of training. Our school board and our executive officers go down from school board and do training. And they got their own private beach, and I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we're very fortunate to have beaches within, and that's one reason we've stayed in Kinston. When I was with Children's Homes, I had a chance to go to Wilmington. I didn't want to. And when I was with the state, I could have gone to Raleigh. No, I love Kinston. And with the Woodman, I was offered a chance to go to Omaha once. And I said, man, I'm an hour and a half from Raleigh, hour and a half from the beach. My Pirates are in Greenville. Yeah. So, I mean, I've died and gone to heaven.
Yeah, what do I need? Yeah.
So, and I just love Kinston. And, you know, Kinston is a real special place. Mm-hmm. It really is. And I think you're starting to see, because you've been here 4 years now?
Yeah, 3.5, man.
Holy cow.
In year 4. I know. Tell me about it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And your girls are how old now?
About to be 10 and then 12 and a half.
Oh, wow.
At that point once we get there. So
that's exciting.
Yep.
Well, you got those kind of amenities for them because, you know,
Yeah.
the arts in Greenville are phenomenal. I mean, the concerts that come in, the plays that come in, of course, all the athletics and everything. Plus, I mean, they got Dale Murphy coming in a couple of weeks. And those Atlanta fans that remember Dale Murphy, you know, they're paying a lot of money to get a baseball signed by Dale Murphy. But a lot of opportunities in Raleigh, my gosh. You know, so raising a family is, you know, you can make a day trip and expose them to just in Durham, the DPAC, the plays at DPAC. I mean, they are, you know, they've had Hamilton and Wicked.
Oh,
and
really nice.
It's unbelievable. So raising kids and exposing them to those kind of amenities, you know, it's a part of being in Kinston.
Yeah. The biggest thing for us is that, like, all my friends my senior year did senior trip to Outer Banks. I didn't go.
Did they really?
I was
Outer
broke,
Banks?
But yeah.
Get
so
on
my
there.
point is, like, in Columbus, where we come from,
Right.
people work all year and then they take a week's vacation. And where do they go?
Holy
Freaking
cow.
Emerald Isle.
Can you believe that?
And yeah, so we're like, it's fantastic. We tell people all the time, they're like, oh, where'd you move to? Like North Carolina. They're like cold North Carolina or like warm North Carolina. I was like, dude, I'm an hour and a half from the beach, baby. And they're like, oh, it must be nice. I'm like, yeah. If you're from here the whole time,
Oh, yeah.
you take it for granted. Like
You really do.
it's really something that like a lot of this country would give an arm to be within a 2-hour drive to these beaches. And a lot of people like sometimes don't even go. They're like, I just don't really care for it, which is fine. Like whatever your jam is your jam. But like those beaches are awesome.
They're really, and they're beautiful beaches. We were, you know, I was raised in South Carolina, and we had, you know, Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove, down the line there, and my family used to vacation at Cherry Grove, which is North Myrtle Beach. But once we bought our place here, I mean, the beaches are just as pretty, and you can have shabumis. You know what a shabumi is?
Oh, yeah.
You can have shabumis here. You can't have them at Myrtle Beach. And the best thing I invested was a shabumi.
Dude, those things are awesome.
And those guys, the three guys that invented shabumis.
They're from North Carolina.
Yeah,
too. I don't know where at, but they're from North Carolina.
I think Wilmington maybe, but they went to State or Carolina. But I mean, all it is a piece of PVC and a piece of tent cloth and $250.
I know. We're in the wrong game.
Well, the first time I went down to Ace Hardware at the beach to buy one, I walked in and I said, well, I want one of those shabumis. And I said, oh, okay, it'd be $250. I said, I only want one. And I said, I'm not paying that. And I went back down, and Johnny said, get your butt back down and get me a shabumi. And we got two now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you were like, no, I just need the one for 2 people. And they were like, yeah.
Yeah, $250.
Yeah, they're expensive. We competed against them in a coolest, it was like a coolest thing made in NC competition. That, actually, so you mentioned Brian Kraft. He actually, we got him to move to Kinston to work for us at Out of America way back
That's
then.
right. That's
so
right.
That's right. But he had us in with like a Chamber of Commerce for the NC. Like NC Chamber had like a coolest thing made in NC competition.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were competing against the Shibumi, and that's how I know that they're made here. But
that's tough competition.
we had a 3D printed headgear for a person with a cochlear implant so that she could do MMA though.
Get out of here.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
Y'all should have won.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't have enough votes. I think we got beat by like some ridiculously large corporate entity. But trust me, I was on there. Like, we made it to like, I don't remember what it was, but like we made it pretty far, especially for being like a little tiny startup. We hadn't even been in business like a year, I don't think. And
well, you look at a beach,
cool.
You look at any beach, and there's like 100 shabumis there. Now we, one of my other family members, when we get together, they have one, and we'll put 3 together.
Yeah,
and we can get 15, 20 of our family under 3. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, they make noise. Well, my gosh, you know, you got the wind and
whatever.
Just cut your radio up. Forget about it.
I like that. Exactly. Yeah, I think the Shibumi. Yeah, I think the Shibumi will eventually be like the Kleenex.
Yep.
Like everyone will call all of those things Shibumis, but only like eventually once the patent runs out, there'll just be a bunch of Shibumis. But
I don't like the colors because they're too close to Carolina blue.
I was going to ask.
Somebody asked the guys, and they said, well, this is kind of phase 1. And once we dilute the market, then we'll convert over to purple and gold, red and white, Carolina blue.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I think it was because they had to mass order them.
Right. That's right.
So one colorway keeps
once they go to the next phase, they'll make another fortune.
Yeah. Wait till they, like you said, wait till they license them.
Because how much is, I figured once maybe $30-$40 in one.
Yeah, maybe.
You get the PBC.
They're getting them made in China probably. So,
yeah.
They're really cheap.
So everyone they sell, they're making $200.
They probably have a lot of investors. I don't know what their structure is.
I would love to be an investor.
Yeah. There you go, guys. Yeah. I'm telling
Too
you,
late.
you are. You have 3 or 2.
That's right. I'm investing big time. Take out a loan to buy a Shaboomy, you know.
I'm telling you.
They need a loan department next to Ace Hardware.
Yeah, they need to. What are the little like
Little kiosk or
the
an
little
ATM
things
machine.
where you can get the loan? Oh, what is the company? There's a company like when you go and buy like electronics on the internet, and it's like, would you like to do it in payments of $39? You're like, no, dude. If I need to put like a one-wheel skateboard on a thing, like that's a problem.
I probably shouldn't buy it.
Yeah, we laugh all the time. This is probably it doesn't matter. We laugh at the one-wheel skateboard that we have, right? The little like self-balancing skateboard that I ride around.
Yep.
And there's like all these groups online for them, and we follow them. And the amount of people that will be like, "Oh man, Klarna, that's the name of the company." They'll be like, "Klarna turned me down for the financing on the thing. I was such a bummer. I really wanted one." It's like, dude, it's like $900. If you like pay your rent and get your feet on the ground as a person before you're trying to put $1,000 skateboard on your credit.
If you got turned down by Klarna, you got a problem.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, I was like, dude, you need to probably pay that last credit card off.
I know.
Yeah,
your credit rating is like 200.
Financial literacy. We need more of it, man.
Yeah, we do.
It's like that's what the schools need to be, man. They just need to be like
a
couple of trades. Here's how you actually do your taxes. Here's budgeting.
Yeah.
Here's maybe like here's not what to look for when voting, but like here's the concept of doing research on candidates. Stuff like that, just actual life skills. That's the stuff we like having our kids homeschooled for. Of like, hey, learn this now learn this, now learn this. Hey, you're going to come with me to the store, and we're going to talk about what unit cost is on the tag at the grocery store.
That's right.
People don't know what that is. They just buy the smaller package because it's less money, and it's like you just paid more per unit.
Well, I took civics in the 9th grade with a great teacher, and that's where I got all information about parliamentary procedure and government and all that. And I'm not sure we teach civics.
Like Robert's Rules?
Yes, Robert's Rules of Order, people.
I would have never been, like, maybe me living here was when I've actually heard of that.
Okay.
But I didn't go to college or anything, and like I'd never worked in large corporations. I always worked I worked for a Hyatt, but I was just like a bartender, so it was pretty easy. But having a meeting at Steph's parents' business, it's like 15 people work there. Meetings like 2 or 3 people. It goes a lot like this.
Yeah.
And that's it. So moving here, but like, oh, there's this whole thing. There's this little book about how to hold a meeting, and these are like the standard rules. I was just ignorant to it because I just didn't need to learn it at that point.
I was very fortunate when I moved here and got involved with Woodman. I mean, I have led a meeting of 1,000, on some sensitive issues with some of our chapters in our jurisdictional convention. So I kind of had to learn the process. I had a good mentor too. Nice. So and that's one thing I tried to teach in Scouts, and that's another program that it's an opportunity for kids to learn a lot about citizenship and the community. And I know Scouts have had their issues, but I think I think the program. Both my boys are Eagle Scouts and learned an awful lot through being a Scout. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, we had can't remember his name. We called him Scout though. He worked for us for a little bit. He's actually we were walking through the fire station the other day, and he jumped out of the truck and was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I was like, "This is a job for you." And he was like, "I love it. It's great." And he was very, very serious. Like he was in love. Like he loves being a fireman. And I was like,
"Good for him."
Yeah,
found his niche.
Yeah, he was working for us, and we were like, "Dude, I'm telling you, this is a little elementary for you, man. Like you need a little."
The Lord
more.
didn't call you to this job.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was bad or anything, but it was just like you could tell that sitting in there and blasting parts every day was not what he was cut out for. In the long term, he had greater things on his plate for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was cool. It was very cool.
That is neat.
Well, cool, man. I think I'm getting to that dangerous spot on recording time remaining. I would hate to push it too close and lose it. So.
No problem. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun.
Me too, man. Super fun.
We'll have to kick back again. Kick back with Zach again.
I like it. Anytime. I appreciate you coming out, man, for sure. Definitely so quickly, too. I mean, appreciate it a lot.
Well, I enjoyed it. We were in town for a couple of days, and it worked out real well.
Nice.
I appreciate that. And again, thanks for all you're doing for our community.
Nah, for sure. For sure. Just doing my part, man. Just trying to put a couple pebbles in the jar like everybody else and fill that sucker up.
Good.
So try to get some more people with some pebbles.
There you go. Get some more pebbles.
That's it, man.
You get them off the streets out here. All pebbles.
Yeah, see if we could just bust up some of them rocks. You know what I mean?
Get those pebbles going.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get it moving. We'll get it moving for sure. You just got to keep provoking fresh thought and kicking the beehive every once in a while and turn and run and come back and kick it again a little and shake things up. But
Well, I think people have to be willing to ask questions. A lot of times we're quick to say, well, that person's a troublemaker because they ask questions. I mean, that's the only way we're going to move on is to ask the right questions and be willing to accept the answer. And if the answer's not what you agree with, then how are you going to come up with that solution?
Yep.
So I appreciate what you generate, the kind of dialogue I think that we need.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to figure out how to not be as, I think the current term is ugly. I call it prickly. But I'm trying to be a little less prickly. But, still make sure that we get eyes on stuff.
Sometimes I feel like I'm too diplomatic. I have because you have to be diplomatic to really get things done.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes prickly is a good word. You have to nudge, and you said provoke, but I think sometimes you have to do that. And you have to, again, by doing that, you're holding people accountable.
Yep.
And if you're an elected body, you need to be held accountable.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing. It's like consequences. It's a word that you either dread or you love it. It
Absolutely.
depends on how hard everybody knows what they're putting in and how hard they're working and how much they can give.
Yep.
Everyone knows what percentage they're playing the game. And
Absolutely.
if you don't like the term consequences, it's probably because you're due some poor ones. And if you don't like the word accountability, it's probably because you haven't been very accountable.
That's the thing.
Just in general. And sports hold you to that. That's why it's great for us to keep sports in town too. It's accountability. You get to see it on the forefront. It's good for kids.
Yep.
Work hard, put things in place, have a larger goal, and achieve it.
Absolutely.
Nothing better than sports for that. I mean, it really drives it home. Really drives it home.
I agree. So. Well, look at accountability last night. The fellow that had the out-of-bounds penalty.
I'm telling you.
Was that crazy? I couldn't believe it. And that poor guy, of course, they probably made him walk home.
No, did you see the actual reaction from the team?
Well, I saw one guy embraced him and just said, you just want a little part of it. We didn't do enough to win.
Yeah, so that's what the coach Zach said that. And then when he did it, he actually stayed. He sat out there on the field through them celebrating it all.
Oh, wow.
Just emotional, which I love. Wow. I like that they show that, and I like that he stayed there, didn't just run off.
Yeah.
Loved that. And then he went and did a press conference.
No.
And I can't remember the name of the player, but dude sat next to him through the whole press conference and was like,
wow.
No, I'm here with them because we're all in this together.
Wow.
I loved it.
And he was the star of the game.
Yeah, and he played great the whole time.
And that one play is what they remember him for,
Yep.
sadly.
Yep.
But
the real champion of that game was the ref that let Mahomes have that play twice. What are you doing? That was horrible.
And y'all automatically say, well, it's a conspiracy now. The NFL,
The NFL wanted Mahomes in the
So, but
I like it though because I actually like it a lot because Burrow is going to come back with even more fire next year.
Absolutely.
They're going to be even more fired up. If they would have gotten through again and won or not made it, how people get, man, they start to get a little complacent. They start hearing that ego starts coming. Yeah. That's watch the Joe Burrow you see next year.
He's going to be strong.
Oh my.
He's so talented. Oh my, and so cool. He doesn't get shaken up.
No.
So
he thrives on high blood pressure.
He really does.
I love it. Ohio guy.
Yep.
Athens. He's actually from an hour from where.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was. We joke and say that Nick Saban is actually 0-2 against third-string Buckeye quarterbacks in national championship games.
Wow.
One was Cardale Jones for the Buckeyes, and the other one was Joe Burrow with LSU.
And didn't Joe Burrow start out? He started out at Ohio State.
He couldn't sniff the field at Ohio State. They couldn't get him on the field.
Really?
Yeah, and they were they were fine. A lot of people had a nasty taste in their mouth for him because everyone heard so many good things about him. Yeah. But I think really it was just the system that the offense ran, and he's just not not the quarterback for their system.
Wow. He went to LSU and they embraced him and gave him an opportunity. That's like Brock Purdy. I understand that he wanted to go to Alabama, and Nick Saban said, "Well, you're not good enough to play here. You don't have the arm to play here." And he said, "Okay,
all right.
I'll just go into pros and win 8 in a row."
He went to Iowa State, man, and played his tail off.
Really?
I can't remember what it was. He might have played against Dak or Mahomes. Anyhow, he played against somebody that was one of those quarterbacks that was still left last round and in college and hung very, very high passing numbers, and Iowa State was 5-5 or 4-5, so not quite the team, but he was playing a ranked team. But he's a player, man.
I thought Christian McCaffrey was going to have to be the quarterback.
I was excited for that. I was like,
he could do it.
Yeah.
Why did the Panthers get rid of him?
It's kind of like the Browns, man. You don't really want to ask too many questions.
God bless the Browns.
I'm telling you, the answers will make you dumber for sure.
And then hiring, I can't believe the hire. That Wilt's, well, I don't know. We can talk about that all night. It's getting past my bedtime. You know, I'm an old fart.
I go pull these. I got 3 pork shoulders in the oven. So.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I'm Southern now, so I make pork all the time.
Pork. That's good for you. Good for the heart.
It is good, and it reheats really well.
Yep.
Recession's coming. I don't like cooking, but I'm starting to again. I'm back.
Are you girls good eaters? They like Southern?
The youngest one will eat literally anything.
Okay.
And the oldest one eats about 4 items.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
We just make her all her food once or twice a week, and then your chicken and your mashed potatoes. Go get it. And then the other one's like whatever we're eating.
I mean, have they adjusted the collards and? Okay.
No. The younger one.
Question.
The younger one, yes. The older one. Bob Evans mashed potato. It's literally like you could make her like a lunchable, you could make a whole kit all the same for her, and she'd eat the same thing every meal.
Well, she better find a husband that likes to cook.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's
in 30 years, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they're best friends. I told them they should just be best friends and stay single together forever. You know.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling
that'll work.
We're getting there on that.
You get to that age, you really are. Mm-hmm. But you know. They'll scratch and fight for 4 or 5 years, and then when they're 18, they'll be best friends.
Yeah,
best friends the rest of their lives. You know, that's the neat thing about it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good people. Good people.
Good.
Well, anywho, really appreciate you coming out, man. That was episode 29 of Kicking It With Podcast. I'm Zac Holcomb, and this is Danny Rice. We'll catch up with you on the big episode 30 coming out in like a day or two after this one.
30. That's exciting.
I know. I'm getting up there.
Thank you, Zac.
Next one is Dan Owens.
Oh, he'll be good. He's my neighbor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he speeds down our street.
He said, "I don't know what I bring to your what I would bring to your show, but I guess I'm down."
He's
I was
got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I said, "You're the funny guy from Facebook. We'll take it." We're at least going to score really well with the middle-aged women on the next episode.
He's a pirate.
Yeah, Greenville too.
Yep.
Appreciate it. We'll catch up again on the next one.
Take care.